Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell. How are you today, Shell?
I'm doing great.
Fresh back off of our February vacation.
Jamaica.
Man, that was fun, wasn't it?
It
We're
was.
We're going to talk about our trip and how it went. And I thought that's what we talk about today, since we didn't talk about why we were going to Jamaica. We always we like to take a trip for just the two of us in February after the holidays have kind of come and gone. Those winter blues set in, and it's not quite spring.
It's just something we started last year.
Yeah, but I think it's great. You know, we went because last year we got to go to the Bahamas with the Grill Greats competition there.
It was
SCA steak cook-off. And so that was a business trip, but we had so much fun. We was like, it's a great time to go to the Caribbean and go on vacation. So when we got back home, we pretty much started planning, and we booked it, I guess, in June, something like that, late May, June. And we've been looking forward to it all year. And so when we were there, we went to one of the resorts. It was a Sandals resort.
Well, do you want to talk about the recipe first?
Yeah, we probably should. We'll get into all this later. But that's why we were gone last week, and we didn't do a podcast. But before we did go on vacation, like the Sunday before, we left on a Monday, we recorded the video for this week. And so just to stay ahead, the way I knew I wasn't going to record something when I come back from vacation.
Actually, we did, a class on Saturday, regular work week, class on Saturday, came back home from the class, recorded a video on Sunday, packed that night, and got on a plane early morning.
Did not catch the coronavirus, thankfully.
We don't know yet.
We don't know. You feel like you need to be quarantined? I mean, I could have went for 2 weeks of quarantine instead of back to work.
Nice.
But yeah, so the video we did, I did my take. I know everybody's seen this because I've seen it. It's been all over Facebook for years, but it was it's called a Mississippi pot roast, and you take a chuck roast, you put it in your crock pot with a stick of butter, just a ranch packet, a beef au jus packet, and some pepperoni peppers. As many or as few as you like, and that's the Mississippi pot roast. You let it cook all day, serve it over mashed potatoes typically or rice, and it's actually on the back of the recipe for that. See, I thought it was just a social media thing. I didn't grow up eating a pot roast like that.
Heck no.
My mom wasn't using just the pepperoni peppers and ranch packets.
No.
We always had stew with the beef stew mix and the potatoes and carrots and onions and celery and all that stuff. That's how I grew up eating pot roast in Mississippi. But this is a Mississippi pot roast, and evidently it's a thing because the recipe is on the back.
Yeah, I wonder where that name came from.
It's on the back of the packet. Yeah, I don't know where. That's a good origin. We need to research the origin of that. I saw it on Facebook. It's been out there for as long as there's been Facebook people sharing recipes.
I remember somebody telling us about it years and years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, have you tried that? Yeah.
Turns out it's damn good. Because
we've done it a few times.
We did it. I've done it in the crock pot because it's an easy dinner. You throw all that stuff in the crock pot, put it on low, go to work, come back home that night, and you've got some tender meat. And it does taste good. Now, what I've learned cooking it is that sometimes it'll get too salty depending on the size of your roast. If you put a smaller 2-pound roast in that crock pot, which is a pretty small chuck roast, you use a whole packet of beef au jus mix and a whole packet of ranch, heck yeah, it's going to be salty. Mm-hmm. But what you have to do is kind of adjust it for the size of meat you're cooking. So if you're cooking a 4-pound roast, it can take both packets. If you're cooking a 2-pound roast, I'd half it.
Yeah, half a ranch, half au jus.
Yeah, half the packet because it's plenty of seasoning. So what I did it. I didn't do it in a crock pot. I wanted to do it my way.
Well, tell about the first time you ever cooked that recipe.
The very first time, which has been several years ago.
It's been a while.
I didn't have pepperoncinis at the time. I mean, normally I have 3 or 4 multiple jars, partial
kind
jars.
Of let's see what we got to cook today.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm going to do it. And I've got this jar of sport peppers that I'd done. I think I got those back when I was doing the Chicago dog.
Yeah, which is a long time
ago. And it's these little bitty, tiny little peppers. They're a fifth of the size of a pepperoni, so they can't be hot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, the recipe called for 6 to 8 pepperoni peppers. I'll just dump this whole jar of juice and all the sport peppers in there. And that time, excuse me, I don't think I did Because I want to say I put vegetables in at the end of it too. It wasn't just the meat.
Maybe
I did the beef packet and the
all
ranch
I remember
packet.
It was so hot I couldn't eat it.
It was the hottest roast that I've ever tried to eat in my life.
It was so
it
hot.
Had tears coming down.
Yeah,
my eyes.
I'd eat a bite and have to drink a bunch of water. I was like, I don't
this
think
recipe sucks. I don't know if it's me or what, but it was so hot. Like you couldn't even eat the vegetables out of it. They were too hot. Michael wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
And it was painful.
I had a few bites and I was like,
we threw it away.
I
We like ruined a big old pot, a crock pot full. This was just like going to be a Sunday dinner.
But we tried it again a little while later. And we were like, this is really good. Yeah.
The original way. And I become a fan of it. And to this day, I really do like it. But I thought it would make a great recipe to do on a smoker or grill outside. And then use the meat instead of serving it with rice or potatoes or whatever you want to serve it with. I was going to make a sandwich out of it. Kind of my take on a New Orleans po' boy, they use like a beef debris.
Yeah.
So they cook a roast down and then, it's got all the stuff in it. And they put that on a po' boy bread with cheese. And so I called it Mississippi PoBoy. I took a chuck roast and seasoned it lightly. I wanted some good salt and pepper on it. So I used my TX brisket seasoning. Didn't go super heavy. I just wanted to get some flavor on the outside.
Nice.
Put it on the smoker. Ran it about 275, 300, right in that range on the egg. Let it get some smoke on it till it got a little, color. I was going for some smoke flavor and some color on the outside because in the recipe you're supposed to lightly flour the roast and put it like in a cast iron, kind of brown it, and then move it to your crock pot for the long cook. Well, that's what I did, except I did it putting some smoke on it, put some grill flavor on it, letting it develop a little bit of bark, and then I moved it to a Dutch oven. Kept it on the smoker. Heat ran smooth the whole time. I mean, on the egg, it's no problem. But you could do it on any grill. I mean, it'd work great on pellet grill. It'd work great on the drum.
You could not even use the smoker for this recipe.
Yeah, you could. After you got your smoke and grill flavor on it, you could have moved it to the crock pot because at that point, all we're doing is getting it tender.
But you could have done it. You could have done it just like the recipe.
Yeah, you could do it and make the same sandwich. Yeah, it wouldn't be as good.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't have that. It wouldn't have the smoke element to it, the grill taste to it, and that's what I really liked about doing it that way first. Because what was it, about 2 hours is all that I let it smoke.
You just let it get some color.
Yeah, just let it. I wasn't trying to take it to a stall or anything like that. Even any set internal temperature. I just kept looking at it. And at 2 hours, I was like, yep, it's dark enough. It's got some color. I know there's some smoke to it. And you could see when I pulled it all apart that it had a nice smoke ring on it.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I threw some smoker wood in there, used some, lump charcoal to run the egg.
What did you, what wood did you use?
I think that was a little bit of cherry on that one. Cherry or pecan. It's been 2 weeks and I've been to Jamaica and a lot of rum drinks between then. Don't quote me exactly which one it was. But you could use whatever wood you wanted. You could use hickory. You could use a little, cherry or whatever, your favorite wood. Combo would work great. Yeah. If I was running pellets,
could you get too much wood? Could you get too much
you don't need to, you don't need to over smoke it.
Yeah.
Well, you just need a few chunks.
Since you're only smoking it for 2 hours.
Yeah, you can get too much. I mean, you can pile it to it. The key to that is run a good clean fire to where you got a light smoke.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So the total cook time was about, I guess it was 4.5, 5 hours, something like that. Because it still took it
You're just going 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours in the smoke.
And then move it to the Dutch oven.
Yeah.
Stick of butter, ranch packet.
Same old.
Au jus packet, peppercini peppers. And I put about 8 in there. I don't remember exactly. I always do a little bit more. I don't try to get the juice out of them because you're not adding any more liquid. The meat's going to cook down. That chuck roast is going to render out the fat. The butter's going to melt. It's going to make its own kind of sauce, simmering sauce. And that's what I use to moisten up, like for a gravy over the top of that sandwich. So when it got fork tender, I'd use the thermopan to probe it. I really wasn't looking for a set temperature. It's upwards of 210, 215 degrees. Yeah. I'm looking more for zero resistance. It is soft. I could take that thermopan and start breaking it. That's how I want that chuck roast because I wanted to shred it. And I just took it out, put it on a cutting board, used 2 forks and did a quick shred. I shared that on Instagram earlier in the week, the little shred. That looked cool.
Yeah. I mean, it just fell all apart.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't mushy or anything.
No. And
I love beef cooked like that.
Yeah. Oh, and then what you can do is take that beef and just put it back in the pot, mix it with the juice, and serve it that way. If you wanted to make mini sliders, if you wanted to do, I just made. It would be really good to make like little mini sandwiches, like mini subs or mini sliders.
Yes, use that exact same recipe and just make little biscuits.
Exactly. Yep, and put like a little slice of cheese on them. Put the meat on there, a little bit of gravy over the top, some extra little pepperoni rings. Because that's what I did. I bought some pepperoni rings.
That'd be a good football food.
It would be excellent football food.
Yeah,
because it goes a long way. You just get a Dutch oven full of it, or a crock pot if you wanted to keep it warm on the inside, and then some tongs, and let people make their own little miniature Mississippi sandwiches, Mississippi pot roast sandwich, I guess you'd call it, or something.
Yeah, but you made
Mississippi sliders.
Yeah,
it would be. But I made a po' boy. Yeah, and a po' boy to me is just now. I didn't have this is a Mississippi version.
Yeah,
I didn't have the original.
We can get away with not using.
The real bread. I mean, I just went and bought some giant 12, I guess they're 12-inch sub rolls.
Large hoagie or giant hoagie rolls.
They're po' boy rolls to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're soft French bready kind of rolls that I split open. Put some cheese in there. And man, I'm telling you, I bought just regular white American cheese slices from the deli where they slice it off for you. I think I sliced it on number 1. So it's a nice piece of cheese. Put that down as the foundation on the bread. It kind of protects the bread a little bit. Put that hot smoked chuck pot roast Mississippi style on top of there and let that melt that cheese, and then topped it with some more of the gravy, the juice, the au jus from inside the pot, and then pepper rings over the top. That's all it needed. Now, I've toyed around with the idea of making almost like a kicked up mayo or aioli, whatever, to put on it. And that would have been fine if you want a creamy element.
Put a little mayo on mine.
I knew you were going to. But that, you don't have to. I think it was fine. It was moist. It was juicy. It had a ton of flavor. It didn't need a whole lot. And it makes a heck of a sandwich. I mean, it was fantastic.
Delicious, yeah. It's rich.
Super rich. So you couldn't have ate that whole sandwich. I cut it into 4s, and I don't even know if I could have knocked out a whole half of it.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. I mean, it's hearty,
the night.
I put that there was a little bit of meat left over, but majority of that chuck roast went on that one sandwich. But it would have fed family of 4 easy. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody would have got a nice quarter of a sandwich.
Especially if you had like a pasta salad or something to go with it.
Yeah. Even if you're serving it over mashed potatoes or rice or something.
Completely.
That would have been a big serving. I mean, we're talking several ounces of meat. Yeah,
if you gotten some really good mashed potatoes and just put that smoked Mississippi pot roast on top with a little bit of gravy.
Yeah, that'd have been good.
Heck yeah. This recipe all came about because you happened to find a certified Angus beef chuck roast.
Yeah, at Super Low. Yeah, at locally.
You were just looking.
Well, yeah, I always, me, I'm strolling through the meat. If we go to the grocery store, I'm headed to the meat department. But
what they got. See what it looks
that's the only store close by me that sells certified Angus beef just in the case. So you have to look though, because they have so much certified Angus beef, and then they have so much just regular. I don't know what brand it is, probably IBP or something like that.
You have to look real close because they don't have the regular certified Angus beef sticker on it.
Yeah, but it does have the printed one. Yeah. And the difference is the daggum marble and the quality of that beef.
It was so red and pretty and marbled, the raw.
So I usually try when we go through there. Super Low is a local chain. I'm sure everybody's got little local chains they live by. I mean, we've got Kroger's and we've got Walmart's and Sam's Club and Costco, but Super Low's like an independent, and they have 6 or 7 stores in the Memphis area.
It's employee owned, is what they call it.
Yeah. So their prices are. I mean, they say their prices are better on everything. I found the certified Angus beef prices are great, but then you might go over to the cereal aisle and it's jacked way up. So they offset their prices. But it's a good little store to buy beef. They actually sell, like when we do a contest, it's the only place close to me that sells Springer Mountain chicken. So they're dealing with these other independent labels instead of like the
instead of just making
big box supermarket, if you want to call it that. Yeah, the major ones. They have a better choice. And I found a lot. I found some really good pork, some really good beef, and some really good chicken in those little independent grocery stores. And
you found competition briskets in there.
Yeah, I have certified Angus beef brisket. Yeah. I mean, they don't have prime usually, but heck, the marbling on this chuck roast was. I mean, if it was choice, it was high choice. Yeah, because it was fantastic.
They dealt in choice. Choice is the bottom level.
They don't deal. I doubt they have select there.
It's choice and then prime.
But they don't have prime though.
Yeah, they just have.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if certified Angus beef if it sells a select product.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
If it grades out, it probably they probably
not
won't.
Super low. I'm asking about certified.
Yeah,
beef.
yeah. I don't think it even grades out that. They won't make the certification if it. Yeah. They're not going to say certified Angus select, certified Angus beef brand select. I don't think. I mean, it just doesn't sound right.
But you found that and decided you wanted to do a chuck roast, and you started talking about it and coming up with ideas. And how did you come up with the idea to do the Mississippi PoBoy? You started talking about doing a Mississippi pot roast, and then you started thinking about turning it into.
I thought it would be a good time. I mean, to make a great sandwich.
Yeah,
because it's traditional. We just eat it with some mashed potatoes, or either. I tell you how, like one of my favorite meals that growing up as a kid was always pot roast Sunday, because my mom would do it with all these vegetables.
I hated pot roast Sunday.
Did you? It always turned into soup Mondays, though.
Exactly. And then sandwich Tuesdays.
Just ate them for 3 days. I liked it. My mom made a good pot roast. And,
maybe that's the difference.
But she had one of these big, I know you've seen them. It's like the classic turkey roaster looking thing. It's this big thin metal one with the roaster lid. And she always cooked her pot roast in that. So she'd put her chuck roast in it with the seasonings.
She never used a crock pot?
But it was always juicy. I mean, she always added water and beef broth and beef stew seasoning packets and all that. But then there would be the onions and mushrooms and carrots and celery and green beans. And so it was a hearty dish. You know? It was really a meal. And then she'd serve it over mashed potatoes. Sometimes rice, but most of the time mashed potatoes.
I like that.
So I was going to do, I've done one like that. I call it Not Your Mama's Pot Roast or something like that. Same kind of version. Just on the smoker to Dutch oven. Yeah. So, or I don't know if I did that one in a Dutch oven or if I did it in a big aluminum pan. Because you could do it either way, cover it in full.
I'm pretty sure you did it in that same Dutch oven.
This one would work.
It's a 5-quart Lodge Dutch oven with lid.
I think I found that on clearance at Kroger for like $15. I've got more use out of that Lodge Dutch oven for $15. One of the best buys I've ever had.
So we had some other chuck roasts that you made the Mississippi pot roast with, and we did the sandwich with, just trying it out like the week before.
Yeah, testing.
And we had it for dinner one night or something.
Yep.
And we used Texas toast?
Yes. And see, that was my original thing. I was going to do it on a Texas toast sandwich, like, make a pot roast sandwich kind of Mississippi pot roast sandwich. I said, I'm going to take it a step further and turn it into this monstrous sandwich. With the cheese and everything. Which one do you like better, Texas toast or the po' boy?
The Texas toast. The toast got kind of soggy and stuff, which I kind of like a little bit,
It's more, if you had, I know you have open-faced roast beef sandwich or whatever, where they kind of put the shredded meat on top of the sandwich and you eat it with a fork. You don't pick, it's not meant to pick up. That's what it turned into.
It did. So the
po' boy held up.
Exactly.
The bread's a little firmer on the outside, has more of a crust to it. Yeah. It's soft on the inside, but then you put the cheese in there. Kind of acts as a barrier.
And the cheese got melty when you put the hot meat on it. But it did that on the Texas toast. But that's another option. You could do a bread like that if you were trying to feed a family with it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you could serve individual sandwiches. I really do think the little miniature sandwich or mini subs or sliders would be
I love that idea. That's a really good idea. That's something you could feed a lot of people with. After you get done cooking it and tossing it back in your juice, put it in a crock pot, set it there. Yeah. Make you a little Mississippi PoBoy
bar.
mini Mississippi PoBoy bar.
It's really, but to me, it's kind of wintertime food.
It is, yeah.
I'm going to do it with some venison.
Stick to your bone
deer.
type
I've got a boneless hindquarter in the freezer. I'm going to thaw out and kind of do that same style and see how it turns out. I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I know it'll be good.
Are you going to turn that one into a sandwich too?
I don't know.
Probably
just
not.
To eat it. I think it's just going to be dinner one night. I'm going to let it roll on the smoker and Dutch oven.
So you did the Chicago Italian beef sandwich, and then a few weeks later you're doing this Mississippi PoBoy. Which one did you like better?
Man, that's tough. God, that's tough.
Because they have some similar elements.
Yeah, but the one's a sliced tender meat.
Yeah, and the other ones.
And it was
pulled.
Wagyu. But,
the gravy was good on both.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's not like you can use the gravy as the tiebreaker.
I don't know if there's a right answer there because, I don't hate either one of them. I want to
You love a
say,
good
I like the
sandwich.
Mississippi one better, but man, that Chicago taco wings is good. You know, that's something you don't eat every day. I grew up eating pot roast. It's always like, so I'm gonna have to go to the Italian beef spot.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
I don't know. I kind of like
Pot roast better.
the Mississippi.
If I'm serving it
PoBoy.
to people, I'd probably come more serving them the Mississippi pot roast style.
Yeah.
But for something special, I'd do the Chicago Italian beef.
Yeah.
It's a little more labor intensive. You gotta
I wasn't crazy about the
let it sit
Jordanaira.
overnight. You didn't like the Jordanaira?
Jordanaira, or maybe just the one we used.
Yeah, maybe fresh would have been better or something.
Yeah.
Or a non-pickled one, like a oil-packed one.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I think there's better options out there. We just didn't have.
That's what we found at the store.
Yeah, that's what we had.
But
So what's next?
they're
I
both
have
good
no
sandwiches.
notes. I have absolutely
Okay.
no notes.
Well, I thought we would talk about our trip.
Okay.
And kind of, when we go on trips, we like to try new foods, different foods, and I get a lot of inspiration from them. That's where some of my best recipes have come from, trying to recreate things that I've tried while out traveling. And I think that's if you're going to go, on vacation and go somewhere, I encourage people to try different stuff that they normally, get outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to try something. Don't just go to the same old places when you travel. This time we went to Jamaica, and we'd been before it, but it had been 11 years since
Yeah,
we
we
went to
went for our
Jamaica.
honeymoon.
We went to a resort on our honeymoon. We went back, and we kind of went in with the idea that you're more going for the scenery, the beach, the sunshine, all that, the relaxing, the rum, but the food.
Well, we went to a resort. And
Yeah, the food typically
at the resorts aren't very good.
Yeah, or there's something for everybody, but it's not high quality. But we were surprised this time.
Yes.
The food at the resort we were at was fantastic. I mean, I'm trying to think what if my absolute favorite
things that I wasn't just blown away with, but most everything I had was like, wow, this is really good.
I had some of the best lamb I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I've said it before, I'm not just a huge favorite of lamb. I like lamb when it don't taste like lamb. And this, they did like a jerked version of lamb chops in a sauce that was kind of sweet, spicy, had all that Jamaican jerk elements to it. And the lamb would just almost fall off the bone. It was so tender, cooked perfect. And I didn't order it. I just happened to, well, the way we do it, I mean, it's all inclusive, so you can get whatever you want. I usually get one entree and Shell will get one, and we'll kind of split them so we both get to try them. And so I think that night I went with the steak.
Yeah.
I think it was like a strip steak, and it was good. In no way compared to the lamb that you had. I mean, that was fantastic. And that's one recipe that I want to go and create. See, I guess by traveling to the Caribbean, Jamaica, that's kind of my influence for coming back the very first time 10 years ago and wanting to create jerk food.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, but the only jerk food I'd ever been exposed to was like wings at a wing joint that had them. But it led me to wanting to try to create jerk chicken my way, my interpretation of it. It led me to doing the jerk pork, which was a fantastic way to do a pork butt. I did a recipe on, and man, it was cut it into bigger
pork,
steak pieces, and we did the whole thing to it and marinated it. And man, it made these. I think I made pineapples out of that one.
You did.
Like hollowed out pineapples.
I made a
it was
pineapple
so good.
salsa.
But it all
say,
came from my travels down there, falling in love with that food that I've never had. I mean,
their jerk chicken was really good at the resort, but their jerk pork.
The jerk pork, they did it different. See, it wasn't they
didn't have a big
it was like pork loin,
sauce.
and you could tell they had marinated it in jerk
A little.
and then threw it on a hot fire and got the outside really charred, but it was pork loin, so it was so overcooked, and it was like these hunks of overcooked pork loin. It wasn't hitting on nothing. Now they served it with, you could get the sauce on the side.
But they didn't glaze it on.
What they call that sauce? A Hellfire sauce.
Yeah.
So it was a Scotch bonnet sauce, but it was more, it's kind of yellowish orange.
And it was good.
Almost looked like a mustard almost, but it had a little bit of vinegar in it, but it wasn't overly vinegary, and it would light you up too. It was good. I liked it. I put it on everything.
Yeah.
But if you didn't watch it, it would get you.
I would just dab a little bit, like every 3 bites.
Yeah.
Or something.
But the chicken, phenomenal.
Great.
Another one that stood out to me was their jerk smoked sausage.
I'd never seen jerk sausage.
I hadn't either, and that's got me wanting to create.
Yeah.
I come back with the idea that I've got a few recipes that I'm going to do because of this trip that inspired me, and jerk smoked sausage was one of them. They incorporated those jerk flavors in the grind, in the meat, and it was a pork base. I think it probably had some beef in it, but it was mainly pork. It seemed like case sausage smoked. And they grilled it right along with the grilled, the chicken they're
just
doing.
Just like
and
we
all
do
that.
a sausage and cheese.
Just like it, except all those elements were in the sausage.
And
it went so well.
Too.
It went so well with that jerk glaze.
Yeah.
And so any of the glazes like I did on the wings or the pork or the chicken would work fantastic on that. So I've just got to come up with the ratio of the spices to put in the sausage grind and case it. So I don't think that one's going to be very difficult to reproduce. And I've been wanting to work on some sausage recipes anyway. So that one and the lamb are too high on my list. We also tried, they called it Jamaican pepper bacon. And I thought this was at the steakhouse. We went to the steakhouse one night. I had a fantastic steakhouse, but one of the appetizers they had was Jamaican pepper bacon. And what they had done, I was thinking it was going to be like
coconut shrimp, wasn't it?
It was just by itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was thinking it was going to be like candied bacon, jerk glaze, something like that. But it was more of thick strips of pork belly that I guess they had, think of extra, like three or four pieces of Wright's bacon in a thick piece. It was probably, I'd say, quarter to a half inch thick. And they had kind of grilled that, and it had a nice peppery finish on it, but then it was like in a jerk sauce too. And it was just so melt in your mouth. I mean, it tastes like bacon.
Try that.
Yeah. It was, that was after many drinks. You was on the wine that day. You don't remember the Jamaican pepper bacon?
No.
It was so good.
So good.
It was fantastic. It's something I come back with in mind that I've got to recreate.
We did sit outside that bar waiting for our table to be ready
For an hour and a half.
We tried make me an old fashioned. How about a dirty martini? We just were give me all the good ones, The
Mai Tai. I've got and that's also I have on here to talk about the rum drinks.
And then we got to the wine.
Because man, the Bob Marleys, the Hummingbirds, what were some of the other ones? Here's one, Iceberg. I'd never had this. It was fantastic. So they take ice cold mug, fill it halfway up with Red Stripe, and then they make a frozen margarita right there in the blender and you can tell them I was going Don Julio, and then put that on top of it. So it's and I do like putting splashes of beer in my margaritas. Like we go to local, when I go to La Siesta here in Hernando, I'll get a margarita and a Corona and I'll kind of adjust it and stir it to take some of the sourness off. Well, when you do the Iceberg, half beer, half margarita, it turns into the perfect margarita kind of slushy. And the balance is not too sour. And so they call it Iceberg. Well, I was doing Mexican Titanics because I would order an extra shot of Julio on the side. And that's what would sink you. The tequila would hit the Iceberg, and then it was all she wrote. After about 6 of those, it's nap time.
That did happen.
That was one of my favorite drinks. The Mexican Titanic.
I can't.
And I did the Bob Marley and the Whaler. So the Bob Marley is like half pina colada, half strawberry daiquiri with dark rum. They usually
made it look.
You have to know this going to the resorts. The two drinks that have non-alcohol are pina coladas and strawberry daiquiris, and because they run them those are the only two they run in a machine. They don't put in a blender. And what they do, if you don't ask them, you're just getting a non-alcoholic drink. But if you tell them you want it with rum, they'll pour a good 2 ounces of rum in the glass and then make it, and the rum kind of blends up through it and you stir it up. So I was doing the, 12-year-old Appleton, Bob Marley. No, the Bob Marley is the green one too, where they layer it. It's like pina colada, strawberry daiquiri.
And then they make a green on top.
Yeah, and they use like blue Curaçao and mix it with some of the pina colada. It turns it green and pour that on top. It's got the rum in it because I asked for it, and then I got the Whaler, the extra shot of the 12-year-old on the side. That was the full band, Bob Marley.
He was drinking both those that day.
Yeah, that was a good day. That was and Red Stripe Lights. That was the water. So needless to say, I did not want to come back home. I was already planning my way that I was going to set me up a grill shack somewhere and
how much it costs to stay at
how much I needed to make. Yeah,
year round. By day 7, I was like, I can't stay here year round. I have to do something else in my life.
Yeah.
It
There's
would be a bad situation.
another recipe I came back that I wanted to do that I thought was really good was the fishing full. And it's kind of, we had it a couple ways. One, they called it like traditional Jamaican fishing full. Then they had one of the restaurants had what was called escabeche fish, which was kind of the same thing. It just wasn't served in the foil. But what they do, they take like a full packet and they use a white fish. It was probably snapper or something like that was local. And they cut up a lot of little thin cut, almost julienne, peppers, carrots. There's some Scotch bonnet pepper in there. I saw some not cucumber, but zucchini, like green zucchini in there.
Yeah.
And all that goes on top of the fish. Is get some citrus juice. I'm sure some oil, some seasons. They wrap it up in full and they throw it on the fire, and they cook it till the fish is done. Which I'm sure it's kind of like one of the fish and paper dishes or something like that. That we've done.
Yeah.
But it's more Caribbean, Jamaican style of cooking. So that's one that I want to work on. And I got a fishing trip.
We had
booked
two
this
different
summer,
ways.
so
What was the other one called? The one that I had at the
escabeche?
Escabeche, yeah. That one
It was very
really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was real spicy.
It had a little more of a spicy sauce on it, and so I've got to look that up and see if I can figure out how they did it.
The one at the jerk shop was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It wasn't hitting on much.
Yeah, you don't like fishing full? It's not one of your favorites.
I liked it when it had more more
bite
seasoning
to
to it. Yeah.
That one, and we had Applewood smoked salmon for breakfast every morning, and it was some really good salmon.
Yeah.
I'm not a salmon. It's up there with lamb with me. If it tastes like salmon, I don't want to eat it. And this did not taste like salmon. It tastes like, I don't know, really good smoked, almost a bacon taste. And I was like, oh, I've got to work on my Applewood smoked salmon.
Yes,
too.
I want you to
for
work
breakfast
on that. Yeah.
because we had it with like served with bagels, cream cheese. They had big caper berries in Jamaica and then tomato and onion. And it was fantastic. So that's one recipe that I come back with. We wanted to perfect some brunch style salmon, You did not just like smoked salmon you'd eat for dinner or, like an entree. This is more something you would slice thin, serve cold. It's meant for brunch, breakfast kind of time.
I tried to do it before and it didn't go well, and you've never tried it again since.
Oh, I turned into cat food one time. I think it's all on the quality of the salmon. That's what'll turn you off on it.
Yeah.
But did I mention the rum drinks? I'm ready to go back. I mean, we booked the trip, so this is like going to be an annual thing for us. It might, we might turn this into the official How to Barbecue Right, the barbecue conference.
We went with some other friends that are also barbecue. Heath and Candace Rawls.
Yeah, Heath Rawls barbecue.
And
this is so good. We got to make it a conference.
So we're gonna do the barbecue.
The barbecue conference.
Super selective. Super secret.
Yeah, if you want to go, book your trip now.
First, you got to apply, and we'll let you know the location and the dates.
Is that the way it's going to go? But that takes me back. I mean, that kind of talking about our trip and when we go on vacations or even when I'm going out cooking in different cities, we always try to find some unique food.
Yeah.
And that's kind of inspiration. And I think it should be for a lot of people. If you're if you're into cooking and want to try different things. And so what I do is I'll pick out, like you said, we'll look at something. I don't care if it's Yelp, if it's reaching out on Facebook. Hey, anybody know any good places to eat in this town? Go for a lot of my recommendations. Heck, I've gotten recommendations from Uber drivers. Like ask them, where's the people go to eat? Because they take people to these places and they pick people up. And so that's how we find a lot of the restaurants that we go to.
And what I've also found when we travel is like what the city's known for might not be the one thing you love the most.
That's right.
Like the jerk chicken, it was great, but we fell in love with those jerk lamb.
Yeah, that's
it was
right.
One
You
of
wouldn't
the
expect
best
to find that
things.
there. Yeah.
So it was something different.
But what I wanted to do was, talk about some of the recipes that I've found, traveling like that. Okay. The first one that comes to my mind when I thought about this and jotted something down was the pork belly burn ends. I would have never. We went to Fort Worth, Texas, and for a national barbecue conference, and we kind of did our own little barbecue crawl. We asked somebody who, we asked around. There were some of the better barbecue joints, and Heim Barbecue come up, and it was in.
They hadn't
been going long, and so we decided to go there. And of course, we tried the Texas brisket, the sausage, but I saw He called them bacon burn-ins then, or pork bacon. I don't know.
I think he called them bacon burn-ins.
Bacon burn-ins.
Yeah.
And so we tried them, and I was like, wow, these things are amazing. So I've got to go back and recreate this. And so the first time I did it, when I did pork belly burn-ins, he had used the bacon, which was cured. And so I did the ones that was just like pork belly, fresh pork belly. I was like, because I'd done pork belly recently before that, but I did it more barbecue style.
Where we
it's
pulled
meant to be
it and
pulled
made a
pork
sandwich.
and a sandwich. And I said, well, I can do this. Just cube it, season it up, cook them till they're rendered, toss them in the sauce, and there you go. It was phenom. It was fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
And then so years later, we'd seen them again. Was that at no, it was at the Certified Angus Beef meeting we went to, and I talked to him and told him how that inspired me. And so when I got back home, I said, I'm going to do the bacon version. He said he still does them, and they're one of his number one sellers. So Travis was like, and I told him, I was like, man, you inspired me to do that. And that was a big hit. But that's probably my favorite that I've went somewhere.
You can't find slab bacon. So what about those pizzas we came back from with the Bahamas?
That was another one that was fantastic. That was last year when we went down to the Grill Grade event. They did one day, it was like set up these pizza grills on the beach. They brought out, what were those, like gas event grills?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? He had them down there for the Burger
Brickstone,
Fest. They did a big Burger Fest. But they set up, well, I think there was 2 of them for the pizzas, 2 big, they were like
maybe 3,
4 or 5 foot long, but they had these little Brickstone pizza. I don't even know if they're Brickstone. I don't know what brand it was.
I don't know.
They sell them on Amazon. As I come back and look them up, I almost bought one.
They're
but
like
it sits on top of this
$3-4,
event grill.
yeah.
And it's got like these pizza walls in it and a dome, and they were making fresh seafood pizzas, lobster and crab meat with like a white sauce and cheese, and I thought they were fantastic. I was like, I'm coming back home. I'm recreating that. I've got to do that.
And you used
it turned out.
You used your white barbecue sauce with that, which was a really good idea.
I kind of turned it into a pizza sauce. I think it makes a great pizza sauce.
It does.
Man. You know,
I'd like you to use that sauce on
so what I was thinking,
other pizzas.
You know how we recently had, I think the first thing when we got to Jamaica, when we were checking in, they took us to have lunch, and they did that barbecue jerk. There was a jerk chicken quesadilla. When I was having that, I was like, oh man, if you use that white sauce and make a jerk chicken pizza, that would be really good. So that quesadilla, quesadilla would be good too, but
yeah,
it was really good. I only tried that one time, I think, but
yeah,
it was good.
I like that idea. A jerk chicken pizza with a white barbecue sauce.
Yeah, with a white sauce, but I do like a spicy white sauce.
And then drizzle some jerk sauce
over the top. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That'd be really good.
I have to say, the food at the Bahamas was not hitting on much. I enjoyed like some conch fritters.
The burgers and we had the burgers and the
pizza. Yeah. I remember you said, no wonder these people are all so little. Their food sucks.
But Jamaica's different.
It is.
It's more of I'll tell you what, there's some flat cooks in Jamaica. We went, everywhere we went,
so
we've
much
had good
flavor.
stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we took like a day trip over to the Margaritaville just to get off resort one day in town. And the food there was fantastic. We just had appetizers, but everything that I tried was really good. The calamari was, it was, I think that's what it was. They did have a sauce they served their calamari with. It was kind of like that sauce they served the fried conch with in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a mayo-y based, I don't know, a little ketchup or something. It really wasn't horseradishy. It just had a smoothness. It was pretty good.
But it was spicy.
Yeah, it had some spice to it without that horseradish.
Caribbean flavors, yeah.
Surprisingly, the sushi was really good there.
Yeah.
They have a sushi restaurant. It was fantastic.
You don't go to places like that expecting gourmet meals, but it was good.
It was.
It was very, very good.
Well, back to recipes that I've been inspired by. That this is kind of a local one. There's 3 hours from us, but the Nashville hot chicken. That's one that I would have never tried to create on my own if Nashville hot chicken had been the thing.
I like the way you do it better though.
You like it better than the greasy style?
Yeah.
It's got more flavor and it's less greasy.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt you as bad.
And Cosmos came into that Nashville hot chicken.
The seasoning,
sandwich.
and it's fantastic. Yeah, it has those flavors.
Because he just fried the chicken and then tossed it in that dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that too. Because you get the flavors of the Nashville hot chicken, but it's not greasy like the real stuff.
But
what other recipes you've been inspired by?
Well, of course, all my Texas ones. The TX brisket rub is based on going to Texas. That's my homage to the state of Texas, because I grew up eating pork. We didn't eat beef like that, and we didn't. Seasoning wasn't just simple salt and pepper like it is in Texas. So when I went out there, and I wouldn't have went if it hadn't been for barbecue, to go to a conference and tried all those barbecue joints, and I started having like what real Texas brisket is.
Yeah.
That's what turned me on to that. And I'm still chasing the perfect one. I've cooked some really good ones, but the perfect Texas brisket, I don't know. It's like something like that I can never kill, like a holy grail, almost, because it's always like you're striving. And I've cooked some that'll just, this is it, but it's not the quintessential. I don't know if I've ever had it in Texas either. Now I'm just chasing it.
We've had some good ones.
I've had some, Blacks is way up there. Their brisket's good.
Little Miss Barbecue is good.
But that ain't in Texas. Yeah.
But
that style, the style is what I'm inspired by.
It's the pits, like.
No, I don't know if it's just like the simplicity of it. It's the simplicity of it. The salt, the pepper, the good meat, the time they let it cook, and the hold. That's what it amounts to. I mean, there's a lot goes into it, but a lot of it's not overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
And from there, I've done ribs that way, Texas style. I've done the turkey breast the way they do it. And that's just something like nobody does turkey breast like that, where it's just that kind of seasoned cooked butter. And it'll blow you away. It's phenomenal.
But it's so simple.
And it's so simple, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a couple ingredients and a little butter and that's it.
You don't learn about stuff or experience stuff like that unless you get out and travel and try it, One I want to do that I have never done or haven't tried is going out to the Midwest and trying those big pork tenderloins they do, where they fry, they beat them out. It's this giant pork tenderloin sandwich. I know Darren does one at his restaurant in Iowa.
And they fry it?
Yeah, it's like a deep fried pork tenderloin sandwich or pork loin sandwich.
What do they put on it? What kind of bread?
It's on a bun with, I imagine, mayonnaise and pickles, lettuce, tomato, probably, or something.
So it's like a chicken sandwich?
Yeah, it's kind of like Dwayne's. That sandwich he does that's really awesome in Kentucky?
Yes.
They have a bigger version of that. Yeah. And when I say big, it's as big as this thing on computer set.
Oh, really?
It's a platter-sized piece of pork loin, beat out, fried, like chicken fried. Think of chicken fried steak or some chicken, pork done like that.
Do they cut it in like fourths and serve it to you?
No, man, you get the whole big sandwich. I've seen some people on Facebook say there's a place in Memphis that does one. I never had it. I know Mark Lambert's recreated it. And I don't know if he's ever done the recipe, but I know he's made them and said they're really good. But that's really just getting out there and traveling and getting inspired by food was a lot of what leads me to the recipes. That was what I wanted to convey today.
Get out there. So what are some of your what are Malcolm's travel tips?
Don't be scared to try new stuff.
Yeah.
And ask around for recommendations. Don't just go to the first billboarded place you see.
Because a lot of the times
the hole in the wall places are better than anything. Yeah. You don't have to go to the number one tourist destination to get good food. But
a lot of times the place that is most well known is not necessarily the best.
That's right. And I don't trust all the Yelp reviews and stuff. I mean, it's fine to look. You know what I use Yelp for? The locator. Like where I'm at and what's close by me, where to keep me from travel too far, and then I make judgment calls based on what I see. Look up and find, and go to their website or Facebook page and try to find photos of the food and see if the menu sounds like something I want to try.
But I know
look at some recommendations. Some of that stuff, and people everybody's a food critic. I don't, and usually I give somebody 2 shots before I'll just mark them off.
If you got time,
but.
But it's like Rendezvous, not the best barbecue in Memphis,
or any of the big ones that are around there, they're not the best.
You got to know where to go.
You got to know where to go. So with the day and age of the internet, social media, like we're all connected. I'm sure everybody's got a circle of a friend in the area or someone that's been there that can give you some good recommendations. A lot of times I start there. I ask folks, "Hey, I'm going to Oklahoma City. Where should I go?" Speaking of, I want to go try Travis's place. I need to go to Oklahoma City. I don't know why that popped in my head.
We have a lot to get out there.
Yeah.
It's not a bad drive from Memphis to Oklahoma
8 hours,
City.
I think.
Yeah, we've done it before
Yeah.
to go to his class.
Hey, I do have to go back to Georgia next week. Got a meeting. I got a meeting, but the big news is the new trailer is ready.
So
it's equipped with the brand new CTO, Old Hickory CTO. I'm excited about all the bells and whistles. I can't wait to show everybody that.
It's a CTO.
I can't wait to show everybody the trailer. Like
So first off, who did the trailer?
Tracy at Southern Dimensions, Waycross, Georgia, and
he's the guy to go to get.
He is the trailer man. I mean, it ain't cheap. I ain't saying he's cheap, but he is the trailer man. He can. I mean, he took the plans. Like, he didn't even make the trailer that the design that I had. I told him, Waylon did some plans for me. I told him what I wanted, and then he sends them back. I mean, I put the design he sent back on Instagram.
Heck yeah, he does like a 3D render.
Yeah, it's crazy, but he could do. I don't know if there's anything he can't do with one.
Yeah.
And every trailer that I've seen that he's built has been super high quality craftsmanship. I mean, it's I can't wait to hook up to it and bring it back.
So that's happening next week.
It's got to. It's ready. I can't take it anymore. Got a contest this month. Are we into March? We will be by the time we do the next podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a contest coming up. I've got to do some practicing. See how it's going to roll.
Get things set up.
Oh.
There's a lot involved in getting a new trailer.
Heck yeah.
You got to, put sheets on the bed and
sheets on the bed
and hang, your knife.
Gotta get that grill season. That's the main thing. Get my knives in there. But yeah, no, I'm excited about that. I'll be looking for it next week because we'll probably do some.
That'd be cool to do.
As soon as I get it, we're gonna do some social media stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I want to try if I have time to get over to Tracy's shop and kind of get some behind the scenes stuff on him building these trailers. Kind of get, spread the word for him a little bit because he's doing well, and I think he's backed up. So my trailer's actually been ready for probably a month, but it was waiting on cooker. And so because Old Hickory's, they were, they're slammed too. So,
yeah.
So when they were able to get one built, I think he had bought one too for personal use. So they shipped both at the same time over there to Georgia.
So
he mounted it for me.
What's the length of this trailer?
It's a 28-footer with the V-nose.
V-nose bathroom?
Yes. Bathroom, shower, sleep. It'll actually sleep probably 4 comfortably. Mm-hmm. 5 if you really like each other. And you're not in the bed with me.
it would sleep.
It'll sleep 2 little people on one bed, and then the other 2 are just standard sized twin mattresses, and then it's got a fold out like couch sleeper in the cooking area too that could be used for the night man, whoever's manning the pits. Slip out there and watch the grill. But
we'll give Michael the little bed.
Yeah. He'll get the little bed. But it's ready, and I'm ready to get it.
And the only cooker you've got on it, are you going to put any other cookers on it, or just the Old Hickory?
I'll definitely put a drum on it.
Yeah, for chicken.
Yeah, I got to. I mean, it's got room to where I can roll a pellet grill on there. I've got room for a generator. I can put another Old Hickory on it if I wanted to.
What
put
color?
a stick burner across the back if I wanted to. I mean, it's.
But this Old Hickory is going to be mounted across the back.
Yeah, it's
right?
yeah. It's black with like the lights around the bottom that supposedly I can change colors.
You can get your music going.
Get the music going. It could be a party trailer. Then also coming up this weekend, before I can go get my trailer, we're judging a rib contest in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's like a backyard deal out at the country club. If anybody hadn't signed up, it may not be too late. I don't know. Last year they had nearly 20 teams. Imagine they have more this year.
And
good little contest.
Kind of in charge of judging.
I'm running the judging, the MC, the whole thing. See how it goes. They're doing a hot wing contest. We won't be there on Friday. They'll have some local chefs doing the judging on it, I'm pretty sure. And then Saturdays when we'll come in and do the rib judging. And Tuesday.
What's the prize on that one?
I don't know. It's a cash prize. I mean, it's pretty good.
Probably a couple $100.
Several hundred. Yeah. They had I don't think the payout was the entry fee was very expensive. I think it was like $100, $125. But I think it paid out, several $100. Which is great for a backyard rib cook.
Heck yeah. Do they supply the meat?
I doubt it. I think you bring your own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get into the rules. All I'm there to do is to make sure it's judged honestly and fairly
as possible.
Fairly, yeah. That's what it's all about.
I'm kind of excited about trying the ribs because we judged it last year, and you never know with the backyard contest, but the ribs were really
The
good
ribs
last
were shocked
year.
me. The wings did
Yeah.
too. There were some guys that knew what they were doing.
Of course, you always get that one bad one, you know.
The spitter. Get that one spitter.
But the majority of them were really good. So I'm looking forward to judging some wings.
Yeah. We had a local, while we were gone, there was a local contest out at Dark Corner, which is kind of Lewisburg area that they've been having for several years. And my buddy Will Dyer from, what was his team name? D&D?
I think. D&D.
Yeah. They're kind of nephews of Mark and Jamie from Swine Life. And
But how old is he?
He's 13 or 14,
13,
young. But he whooped grown men down out there at Dark Corner.
He won, several teams.
So shout out to Will.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Greg Rempe Barbecue Central show. It'll be Tuesday night live.
This Tuesday? Because first
Tuesday of the month. March is already here. We're through with February. And after that, I'll be headed to Pensacola to the butcher shop, down hanging out with Kevin and Jordan. This is March 7th, and I'm going to be doing some sampling of some A9s and some tri-tips, cooking up some briskets, cooking up some tri-tips.
So they're doing
I'm going to do a little demo and pass out free samples. So if you're in the area March 7th of Pensacola, stop by Kevin's from 10 to 2, and I'll be there. I'll be there talking, answering questions, talking about brisket and tri-tip or whatever else y'all want to talk about.
And
it'll be fun. I'm excited. I've never been to their shop. I've known Kevin and Jordan for several years. I've just never been down to Pensacola, so.
Cooked a lot of their meat.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So I'm excited about that.
So is this a fundraiser that they're doing for a local charity or?
I think so. We're not charging. I'm not charging.
Oh, I know that, but
I think it's a free event. So I don't know if they may be taking donations for something or something. I'm not sure on the details on that. I just know I was told that where to go and when to be there. That's all. No question. All you got to do is say free brisket to me, and I'll be there. I want to eat some too.
Speaking of eating and traveling, after we get done with that, we're taking Michael with us at Spring Break Week, and we're going to swing by Orange Beach for just a few nights. And Orange Beach has really good food.
Yes, they do.
What's your favorite place in Orange Beach to eat?
Man, that's tough.
There's 2 or 3 that pop in my mind.
I'm gonna have to say probably Cobalt.
And Cosmos.
Favorite. Cosmos, the steamer.
Oh, the steamer.
It's so good for steamed seafood. That's top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, there's places you can go get some good fried fish, but those 3 have really good dishes.
That's right.
Well, the steamer is just.
I don't mess with fried stuff there. I can try to get all either grilled or steamed or boiled, or I can cook fried seafood at home.
You want that fresh?
Yeah, I want it fresh. Recipes. I've got some coming up. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up.
What you doing for St. Patrick's Day?
I'm gonna work on St. Patrick's Day steak and potato dish. You know, maybe work out something to go,
like a
Irish
dinner
style. No, just steak and potato. It ain't gonna be a full dinner.
Steak and potatoes is a full dinner.
Is that a full dinner? It don't have I guess it is. But that's what I'm working on. And
did you give up anything for Lent?
I probably should have. I wasn't expecting that question. No, I didn't give up nothing. I gave up sun at the beach and come back to the misery here in Hernando. Cloudy, still raining. Every river's busted out of its banks. So why would you come back to this place when you can stay in the Caribbean? But no, that was.
We had a really good trip.
We did. I'm also, I talked about being inspired by stuff, and I've got some Cheshire pork bellies on the way.
What you gonna do with them?
I'm gonna make some jerk pork belly. Does that not sound good?
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, and I think if I get enough, I think they come 3 to a case because I asked them and they told me there'd be 2 or 3 in there. If I got an extra one, I'm gonna play around with curing one of them, and then turning it into like
bacon.
That Jamaican pepper bacon I was talking about. Okay. So I'm gonna play with that one. That'll be down the road. I need to do some experimenting with that.
Yeah.
But the jerk pork belly, I know I can do.
That's
and
like taking jerk pork to another level.
Oh, yes. So good. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Are you going to glaze it?
I don't know which one I'm going to do first. I don't know if I'm going to do the bellies first or if I'm going to do the St. Patrick's Day first. Because both of them are coming up. Or, St. Patrick's Day is what, next week?
No, I think the week we're going to be on spring break.
Okay, well.
Or no, the next week.
Okay.
It's like the 16th.
I may do the jerk belly first. But then crawfish season is here. I had my first taste of them Fat Tuesday, local joint here in town. And they were good, a little bit too sprinkly for me, and they put the hot stuff over the top of them after they're cooked. You ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
Get all that flavor in there. So, that being said, I know it's not barbecue, but I'm going to do a crawfish video.
Yep.
How to cook crawfish.
You and Mark Williams.
Full-blown video, how we do it. Flavors in the pot, it's all in the soak. Gets all the flavor inside so your hands aren't burning. It's not all over your face. It's just delicious. Crawfish, I guess you call it Mississippi style.
Are you going to
inspired from
throw the pineapple in there too?
Oh, yeah. That's going in the end. Yeah. That's dessert. That's dessert. Good. But that's it. That's coming up. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. Spring, I promise you, is almost here. It's almost here. So
it was super cold
excited.
This morning.
Yeah, it's still miserable here in Mississippi, but it's coming. It's going to follow us up from
you think
from
so?
the Caribbean through the Gulf and up the state. And
I'd be happy if we had just a little sunshine when we were in Orange Beach.
Yeah, that'd be great. But anything else you got to talk about, Shell?
I don't have any notes.
You don't? So you come back just totally relaxed, like you're not going to do.
I came back and had to edit, jump straight. We didn't get back in till Monday night. Late Monday night. And then Tuesday, it was nothing but catch up. Wednesday, it was.
Let's edit and try to get the video released and get the video out, then do the podcast and get ready for.
I was really stressed out.
And get ready to go out of town Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
I was really stressed out, and you said,
everything's going to be all right. That's my new motto.
What can I do to help you?
All right, Shell.
And I said, you write the notes for the podcast.
And I did. I did some good notes.
You did excellent.
All right. Well, I led the way on this one today, folks. Usually I'm just the color man. But hey, where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll be back next week talking more delicious barbecue.